Hi, and welcome to Missed It by How Much. This is the channel that tests sports hypotheses by using computer game engines. Our current hypothesis includes using Action PC Baseball as if it's OOTP in an attempt to see if we can win the World Championship for 2013 with the Los Angeles Dodgers after making changes on the roster and managing the team on the field. But today's video is going to be about how the Red Sox lost their lead in the American League East to the Tampa Bay Rays. So as we dive into the box scores, the first thing you notice here for the Rays is they've won 7 in a row, including a 3-game set on the road in Boston. And if you include before that against Boston, they won 2 out of 3 at home. So they've won 9 out of 10, or 9 out of 11 if you start with the first Boston series. But winning 5 out of 6 against your rival will immediately flip the script and change a lead or a deficit that was 3 or 4 games into a first place lead for yourself. But let's take a look at these games in particular in Boston. Well, first of all, let's go to see Boston. They're currently 4 games back. Okay, they were about 3 to 4 games up before all of this started. So as we go back to the reports, let's take a look at Boston and see how they've played in that 10 or 11 game stretch since they started taking on Tampa Bay. And there's going to be one particular thing that I'm going to show you that I think contributes to the change in the hierarchy of the American League East. And that is the bullpens. One of the things we did in this season was, even though we were playing by 2013 rules, one of the things that I hate is when you play a long game. I'm talking about 15, 16 plus innings, and it destroys your bullpen for the next at least series to get those arms back to where they need to be. And you're going to see that occurred here. So let's start with the first game they played against Tampa. That they won 2-1. A good pitcher's duel. And if you notice, there's a 2.5 game lead for Boston. 1 in the loss column, but 3 in the win column. Okay, and Buchholz went the whole way in a almost shutout. So 40 and 23 versus 43 and 22. That's still close, but they had expanded on their lead as Tampa Bay had gotten close. But let's go to the next game. They lose that one in Tampa Bay, 4-1. Another close game. Boston still has the lead. They're 43 and 23 to 41 and 23. So the losses are the same, but the Boston still has 2 wins in the bank, so they're a game up. Lester pitched well, but not good enough versus Hernandez. And again, only used 1 bullpen arm, Miller, who went 2 2/3 and saved the rest of the guys. For the finale, they went 12 innings against Tampa Bay and lost 7-6. They did score a run in the 12th, but Tampa Bay had 2 in the 12th and won it. And as you see, still a decent start, 6 2/3, whereas Archer only went 4 1/3 before he was pulled with 5 runs. Remember that, 5 earned runs. Okay, so that's just a precursor. Now you're looking at 42 and 23 versus 43 and 24. They're essentially tied for first place when that series ends. And then Boston wins a series at Baltimore, 3-1. So you get excited there. You think, well, we're back on it. But this is the problem right here. On June 16th, they played a 16-inning game. And in this game, they went through everybody in the pen. Lester pitched well, 6 innings, but that's it. I guess he ran out of pitches. Nope, they pulled him early. He still had more pitches in the bank. They wasted their bullpen. Their bullpen completely shot and still ended up losing the game. If you're going to use your whole bullpen or at least your high leverage arms, you expect to win. I don't know what happened here. It looked like Baltimore used a relief. Either they have a long reliever that can throw 70 pitches or they used a in-between starter. I don't know. But Boston did not. These are all bullpen arms. Okay? So they wasted all of these guys and they lost the game. So then they're 46-25 going into the series with Tampa Bay. And they got swept. So remember that. Everybody in the bullpen was used the day, well, they had a day off. Okay? But some of these guys, I have relievers. It takes 3 days for them to get it back together sometimes. Probably minimum 2 for the ones that are weak in the durability score. I'll try it again. They lost that game 8-3. Archer got revenge. He threw 8 innings, 3 earned runs. That's a good start. So Boston had to go back to the pen again for 4 relievers to pitch. Okay? And they still lost the game. It was a 5-3 game at one point. No, it wasn't. Tampa Bay had 8 runs before Boston scored. So why are they using, I guess these are not their high leverage guys. I seem to believe Uehara was somewhat important in winning the World Series. Anyhow, they used a lot of pitches there. They used 4 different pitchers and usually 6 in a bullpen total. And Tampa Bay crawls ahead now by a game, 2 in the loss column. Okay? So that's how they'd passed them. But you'll see that wasn't the end of using the bullpen too much for Boston. The next game, while their arms are still tired, Lackey takes the mound. And he only goes 4 1/3 and gives up 3 earned runs. Again, why he's being pulled at 75 pitches when he can go 108, I don't know. Tampa Bay did the same thing, but again, they won the game. And Uehara, here you see it was used again. And usually he has 20 pitches to throw, and here he only has 10, and they threw him 15. So you can still keep throwing these guys, but you're going to get diminished quality from them. They even used Miller in this game, and they lost. And there you could lose him, probably not for the next game. But now you've lost 2 games in the series. You're down by 2 games in the division, and you have your final game against Tampa. You're at home. You've lost the first 2 games. You've lost a total of 4 of the 5 games, and you're going into this last game with a weakened bullpen, and this happens. Ryan Dempster gives you 1/3 of an inning and 5 earned runs. And there's a rule in this game, and I'm considering changing it, that once your starter gives up 5 earned runs, you get pulled. Because in most games, that's too many to win. You can't put it so they just go and let him. He only threw 23 pitches, and he was pulled after 1/3 of an inning. Then that means everybody has to throw to get you to a game where you eventually tied it and went into extra innings. So then you're going, I just used every single person in the bullpen yet again. And here you go. This S means that he's weakened. He's not supposed to be throwing today. He's supposed to be down. So he gives you minus stuff. Yeah, you get through it, but you're wiping these players out. They should not all be being taxed every single game, even if it is for one batter. And after going down 5-0, you rally, tie it, and then still end up losing it in extra innings. Just to give you a hint of how this started, top of the first, Zobrist hit by a pitch. Zobrist steals second. Jennings bunts to the catcher. They get Zobrist at third. 1 out. Runner at first. Myers doubles. Jennings scores. Napoli hits a 2-run home run. Now it's 3-0. Joyce walks. Longoria hits a 2-run home run. 5-0. And then they still left him in to walk another batter before he gets pulled. So, I mean, maybe that's the only way they came back and tied this game. But some games, if you're going to lose it, make the starter at least go 5. So that's why Boston, and then they, for good measure, then that bleeds into the next game. They play at Detroit and lose 11-7. Let's take a look and see if they used all their bullpen arms in this game too, where they lose after tying at 7-7 in the bottom of the ninth on a grand slam by Peralta. Okay, well, 4 2/3 at this point looks like a good start. Wilson's used an inning. Miller's used 2 1/3. They might start getting back, but wow, what a poor performance here. He had minus stuff. I guess that had something to do with it. But Johnny Peralta, the hero, in a 7-7 game. There's this ticking time bomb where you have to go to these arms that you don't want to just to fill innings. And you see Jackson flied out, single up the middle, single between first and second, bases loaded, fly out, Martinez they get. So there's 2 outs. You're feeling like, okay, maybe we get to the 10th. Then Peralta hits a grand slam. So bad times for Boston. They're now 46-29. That's a great record, though. But now you're 4 back of Tampa Bay, who's 49-24. So that's just an eye on why that changed. Everybody else seems to be consistently in first place. Even Texas, who did not really win the division in the real 2013 season, is in good shape. Cincinnati led early on in the season, but it was obvious St. Louis is the quality team in that division. Atlanta's led since almost day one. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Missed It by How Much.